True and Faithful, this is Troy. By way of introduction of this and the following 3 episodes, this is part 1 of 3, where we talk to Lyndon's brother Braden about his mission experience in Africa. In this particular episode, we start by talking about some topical topics in the news, namely a particular documentary that was released by Imagine Dragons singer something Reynolds, Devin Reynolds. I don't really know. You'll see what his name is and how we get into that. The following 2 episodes are all about Braden's mission. So without any further ado, please enjoy this episode. Or if you don't want to hear this, you want to jump straight to Braden's story, you can check it out on parts 2 and 3 of this week's episode of Mission Stories. Enjoy. So we've already done this once already, so let's just get right to it. This is Mission Stories. My name is Troy, and Lyndon is here as well. Hello, Lyndon.
Shalom.
Shalom to you as well. And you can see that there is a third person here. Braden.
Hi.
Is your name. Naglis is your last name. Your surname. Now, Naglis, that's a name both of you share, as well as parents, making you 2 brothers? Hermanos, that's the word. So welcome to you, Braden. Thank you for being here, and thank you for letting us start again. We started, but we didn't have forgot to turn the things on. So
We're just a bunch of silly goofs.
So we had to start again. Is your mic high enough, Lyndon?
It might be a little low.
You
tell me. Once again, I'm not getting... I don't know why I wear these. There's no sound coming in.
Wait, hold on. Is that better?
Okay, yeah, that's a little...
You look the part, even if you can't, hear anything. And then, Braden, is your mic... I'm going to need you to point that just right at your... There.
Right at my face hole?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's coming in.
That's coming in hot, hot, hot.
That's getting injected right into
I'm just gonna do a thing here, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm just gonna... This is very...
Okay. We actually are very well prepared for this podcast.
I was prepared. You know what?
Were you?
I think I did nothing. Well, I had all this stuff set up, didn't I?
Yeah.
Except I didn't. We didn't do final checks on it. That's okay. We can always start again. We'll just go. We'll just keep going. It going.
People love this.
People love this garbage.
That's character.
Boy, I'm really self-conscious about this podcast. Lyndon just told me about how people are telling him to... I don't know if they're telling him to tell me, but they're complaining to him that I am not... I complain... Or what am I? I'm too self-conscious about the podcast on the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, no longer! I have...
Straight confidence.
Straight confidence from here on out. Guys, we got a lot to talk about.
Do we?
I think that we do. What do you mean, do we? You came in here, Braden, with an agenda. Or no, did you? Was that you, Lyndon, who came
I think it was you.
No, you had the agenda.
No.
With the topical topics.
Oh, yeah, topical
I really want
topics.
to talk about your crazy mission experience. But anyway, should we start with topic tops? We just prepared. We did the most preparation just now, that we've ever done for any episode ever.
In the history of the podcast.
We watched 3 YouTube videos about Believer, the new Brandon Flowers.
Close. Really close.
Is that the guy's name?
Dan Reynolds.
Dan Reynolds. Brandon Flowers is also a Mormon singer, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
From the, what's the other one?
The Killers.
Got it out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. That's the guy? Is that right?
Totally.
Okay. Reynolds, the Imagine Dragons. I've never heard their song, except I did.
You've heard it.
You've heard it on the radio.
But I was like, oh, that song.
It makes it onto
I was like,
movie soundtracks on occasion.
Well, good for him.
What movie?
Yeah.
Name
Google
one.
it.
Name one film. Just
Radioactive from 2015.
kidding. The film.
Independent film. They use Radioactive in their soundtrack.
Okay. I believe you.
Fact check me.
I'm a
Dare ya.
believer. This is good lighting today. I
I'll
like
buy
this
it.
sort of diffused lighting.
Thank you, British Columbia,
Thanks. Yeah, it's very
for
smoky
the nice
outside.
smoky filter.
It's all diffused. So, Dan Reynolds, he has a documentary called Believer about how youth from ages 10 to 17 are killing themselves at astronomical rates, presumably because of the shame and guilt that they feel about being gay in the Mormon Church.
Right.
That's the premise? Am I correct?
Well, yeah, I don't think that's what the documentary's about.
Well, that's okay.
That's what Troy got from the
That's
trailer.
what I got. I just
no.
watched 3 videos about it.
that's
I
what-
think I know what I'm talking about.
That's what Ellen
I'm
said.
not self-conscious at all. I'm being firm with my...
No, that's what Ellen said. I think the trailer was just him, making some feel-good film for people to watch.
I think...
He's concerned with those youths, though.
Yeah, I mean, the whole trailer was about him getting emails from people who were saying, I'm gay. Do you support gay marriage? If yes, great. If no...
They cut that part out.
Then they cut the rest of the
That
email
got
out.
edited
We
out
don't
of
know
the trailer.
we don't know what he said. But point being, the first thing we watched was a video by Ellen Degeneres interviewing Dan Reynolds. You wanted to talk about this video specifically.
Well, the reason it became topical for me is in a previous episode, we discussed how the church had brought out these, suicide support videos.
Yes.
And
they
we're
did.
all like, thanks, church.
Thanks, the church.
Elder Renland,
Yeah.
he came out with that. And so we talked about that.
Uh-huh.
And then it was brought to my attention that a month prior to those videos, Mr. Dan Reynolds had this interview on Ellen.
Yes.
And so the church made those videos in response to his interview with Ellen. So a lot of people have been upset with him about his interview with Ellen. And they're like, and he's like, whoa.
Who's upset with him? Like Mormons. Mormons peoples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see why. There's something, I'll break it down my problems
Okay.
with what he said.
Sure.
Is when he talks about, he's like, oh, I grew up Mormon. And then I went to BYU, which is the Mormon college you go to.
Uh-huh.
It's like, okay, buddy. First, he made it sound like, it's what you do. It's like, not everyone goes to BYU.
I didn't do it.
You don't have to go to BYU. BYU is not the college that Mormons go to.
No.
And I know he's saying that to then be like, and then I got kicked out of BYU for breaking the honor code.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, buddy, no one asked you to go to BYU.
No.
You signed the little thing that said you're going to live the honor code. It's like, if you wanted to have sex with your girlfriend, go to UVU.
Yeah.
No one's asking you to go to BYU.
They
And
give
then he's
out
like,
condoms there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then he's like, I'm so guilty and full of shame for breaking the honor code. It's like,
Needless guilt, he called it. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, well, if I was like a contract killer and I reneged on my contract to kill someone, I should feel guilty about that.
You should feel bad about not going through with the contract killing you agreed to.
Yeah, when you do things you don't agree to do, you should feel bad.
That's fair. I mean, this is the thing about it. Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
It's fine.
My thought was, I think that I see this is a multifaceted thing, and we're treading in deep water, and we got to be careful because there's a lot of people who could get very upset about this topic of discussion, I'm
already upset.
And we see, he's already upset. We are wont to be flippant, all of us.
If it's multifaceted, we'll attack one facet at a time.
Flippant and glib are the two things I would say that describe how we talk about things. So I'm going to try to be as non-flippant and non-glib as possible with this highly, highly sensitive subject matter. On the one hand, you're right. If you don't want to agree to it, or if you don't want to abide by the things of this private organization, you could just leave, you could just leave it. And I know also that the rebuttal to that would be, but my family is so entrenched in it. That I think the best part of that interview is when he's talking about like how he puts he's talking to his mom, Dan Reynolds, who's very, staunch Mormon. And he said, if I was on a set of train tracks,
Yeah.
and Joseph Smith was also on another set of train tracks, And Braden's like, and the year is 1820. Basically, he's asking his mom, like, which one of us would you save? And she said, I don't know. The point being for him was like, who says that? But also the point is like, I think all of our parents would say something similar to that. Actually, I don't know. Probably not.
1820, I'm on a train track. Joseph Smith's on the other train track.
Some man with a curly mustache and a black hat has tied us to that.
Mom and Dad, who are you going to save?
Who would
it's
they
Lyndon and Braden on a train track.
And Joseph Smith on a third. You can only save one.
there's 3 trains. Send us your email, please.
Yeah.
Send us your response.
Cheryl, who would you save? Does she still listen to these?
Probably.
Presumably.
I saw her today, and I said, guess who's going to be on the podcast? Controversial guest. And she said, is it me? I said, not quite. It's your son, Braden.
What was her reaction to that?
Yeah.
Wait, what makes me controversial? Did you just make that up?
Well, yeah, I'm creating buzz.
It's great buzz.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's some controversy, I would say, about your mission
Some
story.
inside detail. Before we get to that, let's finish this up, okay? Kids committing suicide in Utah.
Yes.
It's a Utah thing, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Is this a worldwide thing?
It's epidemic to Utah.
It's epidemic to Utah. Now that could be like a rule of big numbers thing, where it's like if you get a bunch of Mormons in an area, of course it's gonna scale up the amount of people who are.
I bet it's similar in any other region that also has a large concentration of an Orthodox religion. I bet you if you went into the some region of the Bible
Brooklyn
Belt that has a lot of
a very Christian
very Christian and
part of the Bible Belt, or that place in New York that has all the Hasidic Jews. There's a whole documentary about that too, and it's the same thing. And polygamous fundamentalist Mormons. That's the whole other thing too. Do you think? Do you think it's a worldwide thing? Do you think that there's or is there something specific about Utah that makes this environment such that maybe the pressure is higher to be Mormon or to abide more strictly by it? You have sort of your neighbors kind of watching you in Utah, being like, "I'll report you."
Well, you heard Ellen.
Yeah.
It was 100% the church's fault.
Yeah, that was interesting. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that's definitely what makes people upset.
That they think it's the church specifically?
Yeah, it's it's the shame from the church. And I would say not the church, but the people in the church.
The people in the church, for sure. Yeah, the culture of the church. Because then we watched also a video with Elder Renland after that, and it's one of these suicide prevention, understanding suicide videos. And from how he was speaking, he seemed pretty even-keeled about it, or he level-headed about it,
He did have to dispel the one myth.
Yeah, that was a big myth.
He said, people that commit suicide do not go to hell.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. That's been the thing for a long time.
That's what my Catholic priest taught me growing up.
Yeah. So he dispelled that, and I think that's something probably they should have dispelled long ago, and they probably have, but not on such a big stage or in such a big way as this. Now, I guess they're responding to the, what has happened with the documentary Believer and with the interview on Ellen, and they're like, obviously we need to address this. I don't know. What's your takeaway from all of this? Lyndon, start with you. Do you think the church is doing a good job, a better job? Is their reaction proportionate?
Well, my takeaway is always kind of this. I am neither a teenager,
Yes.
gay,
Yep.
or a resident of Utah.
Yep.
So I am so many steps removed away from the problem
Uh-huh.
that I can hardly be bothered.
Okay. Should we
But
cut
here
that out? I can hardly be bothered. This is going to be plastered across when you're running for president or prime minister in like 10 years.
Gay teens committing suicide. Lyndon says, I can hardly be bothered.
Hardly be bothered.
I mean, like he says, it's a tragedy.
It is.
It is.
It is a tragedy.
It's literally not my problem, though.
This is like a sub question, but like, should we make it our problem? How much of like things?
Because the one factor there is I may not be a gay teen in Utah, but I am a Mormon.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just enough.
Yeah.
That I should care.
It makes you, as members of the church, it makes us almost like sort of spokespeople to our friends, to our relatives who are any acquaintances who may feel like this to them.
But I suppose in the not too distant future,
Yeah.
I could be a young men's leader
Yeah.
in Alberta,
Sure. Yeah.
and maybe a youth's that I am in charge of is gay,
Yeah.
and I have to be supportive,
And then it's
which
your
I will
problem.
be.
That's
So I don't
fair.
know. Like I feel like there's
That's
nothing
fair.
I need to do to change or fix anything.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's not a problem here.
Yeah, it's not something that we deal with openly or a lot. Like,
Or it's not epidemic here.
No.
I mean, certainly people are.
I don't know of
committing
one
suicide.
instance of it, of a gay teen in Calgary or Alberta. I don't know of that happening here. So I'm sure it has, and it's very sad and it's very tragic. But you're right. There's some degree of separation from it for us. I thought the video was good that we saw, which addresses it. Is it enough? Do you think? Here's a question. Do you think that the documentary is a good thing?
Sure.
Noting that we haven't seen it, we saw the trailer.
I did hear about his little concert that he had,
Yeah,
so that's probably. I suppose it's positive.
I think it's.
Yeah, I think it targets the right people.
Yeah.
The people who it'll affect most,
Yes,
whereas the people who would be offended by it probably don't even know about it.
and I think he's doing. Because you're right. I think that the problem is primarily with the people in the church, but I think it also does have to do with like, someone who believes that, who is gay, a teenager, and Mormon, who thinks that like their existence is just like pulled in three directions at once, and just like, I can't exist. How can I live? I can imagine that would be extremely difficult. So is part of that like that they need to do the beliefs need to sort of like okay. All right, here's my thing. All right. Okay. Here's my cure. This is what I would say to someone. The church is not going to change. It's not going to change. It's like this, it's just this behemoth thing. It's never going to it's not going to change. It's not going to alter itself greatly. You're not going to become not gay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you will grow up eventually and you will stop being a teenager, if you keep at it. But there are these two things where you gotta balance it. And I think that's the thing, is that you have to, there should be some resource, or there should be something, or someone should talk to them, or hopefully they could get to a point where they could say, you have to, because I think we all have to sort of like bend a little bit. Like that's where you have to get to a place where it's like, there are some irreconcilable things on this side and on this side. It's up to me to sort of like to bend in the middle and to get to a place where it's like, I can be this to this thing and this to myself. True to yourself and true to something else too. You're looking at me like I'm crazy, Braden.
I'm just trying to follow along. That's all.
Is it hard to follow?
I think, like you're saying, on one end, there is the LGBTQ.
On the one end, you're gay. Not you're gay, but our hypothetical person is gay.
There's a gay person.
Or whatever.
And they're not changing.
They're not going to change.
And then on the other end of the
Even if they
spectrum
want
is
to.
the church. And they're not going to change the doctrine on
No.
the family. So it's up to the people
Yeah.
to reconcile the
individual.
two immovable objects.
And the only thing that is and there's a gradient between those two things of options regarding what you're going to do about it. It's like on the one end, you could leave the church, hate the church, kill the church. We don't like the church. Totally on this side. On the other side, you could, I don't know, just never act on your gay feelings, and you're like, I love the church, love the church. Or there's somewhere in the middle where it's like, I appreciate XYZ about the church, but also I'm gay, so I want to live a life that's satisfying to myself. I want to be happy, sort of a thing. Do you think that that's possible today?
To what? Accomplish any of those things?
To be like a happy gay Mormon, living your best life, and to be in the church.
Well, I think you have to do what you're saying in the middle, where you're picking and choosing things, because
Yeah.
that's how a lot of people deal with being in the church, who don't agree with, all the different aspects of Mormonism, or the different aspects of the culture of Mormonism.
Yeah.
They already dismiss certain aspects and accept others. Like, not everyone wants to have a ton of kids, and that might be a aspect of the culture in certain areas of the church.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's fine. It's fine if people do that. Or people who don't want to have kids, they can happily be in the church.
Don't they already have like a derogatory term for those people? Call them like buffet Mormons.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. We're all buffet
We're
Mormons.
all cafeteria Mormons, aren't we?
I think that we are. Like,
Some choosing less than others. Some choosing
even
more than
Joseph
others.
Smith, even Brigham Young. Like, Brigham Young, as soon as he was in charge, he's like, nah, seer stones, they're not a thing.
He made his own table.
Yeah. He made his own cafeteria. He built a whole new cafeteria. Do you know what I mean? Like, even the prophets themselves are cafeteria Mormons. They just get to be because they're in charge at the time, And then the next one's like, no. We're like, President Hinckley's like, there will never be a temple in Calgary, Alberta, as long as I'm alive. And then he dies, right? And then President Monson comes along. He's like, there will be a temple in Calgary. And then one gets built. So it's like one guy says one thing, another guy says another thing.
I mean, I know
Cafeteria Mormonism.
I know that example is patently false. Gordon B. Hinckley picked out the temple site for Calgary.
Well,
You
fine.
really ruined the anecdote. Okay.
Thanks, nerd.
I'm just saying, what a terrible fictitious example.
My point is, but Brigham Young did say he did do away with seer stones after Joseph died, which is kind of a big deal because that's how the Book of Mormon was translated, via seer stone. So it's like, all right, we got to be able to be flexible. I think that's my message. That's my takeaway. You got to be flexible.
And I kind of get what you're saying in the middle ground, because here's the thing, where it's like good for this Dan Reynolds guy.
Yeah.
As a public figure, giving like a gay Mormon like an ally, or maybe not a role model, because he's like a straight dude, but like an ally. Because what do they have? They have like Elder Christofferson's brother,
Who is gay? Yeah.
And I met him.
Not a fan.
He wasn't as charming as I'd hoped.
Was he as flamboyant as you had hoped?
He did not appreciate the question I asked him at our little Q&A luncheon.
Yeah, you asked a question that was like,
Borderline offensive, apparently.
are you taking advantage of being the apostle's brother to sort of
Further-
have a platform for yourself?
Which he is, and I thought that was a good thing. Either way, he took offense to it, it seemed. So
That
they
is
have
kind of
him
offensive.
as a role model. They have the husband of the one guy, Tan, from Queer Eye.
Yeah.
He's married to a gay Mormon.
Oh, really?
So
Is he a practicing Mormon, or like he was Mormon, or what?
yeah, like I think they live in Utah.
Oh, that's cool.
But he's like not a public figure. It's like the guy
No.
he's married to is a public figure. They can
Yeah.
look up to him as a role model.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's kind of like, I don't know who else there is.
Yeah, it's pretty barren.
So I think it's nice that he's being an ally to these people.
Yeah.
And it is interesting that he's kind of taking a middle way. Because one critique I heard of him is it's like, well, he's not like an active Mormon. So he's saying like, I'm staying in the community to change it. But people like don't.
Who, Dan Reynolds is
Yeah.
not active, but he's in the community.
Well, you know, like he talks about being a unique Mormon.
Right.
As in like, he hasn't been active in the church like his family is for years.
Yeah.
So people are like, he can't say he represents us unless he's in it all the way.
But like no one's in it all the way. Nobody is. Everybody's got their little thing. Their heart's hard about something.
So people are just mad that he took the bread from the cafeteria table.
Yeah.
And that's
And
it.
not the meat and cheese.
He just took the dessert and was just like, these are the things. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
So there's people that are irked,
Yeah.
and there's people that are not irked. Hence, topical topic.
This has been Topical Topic. I would say I'm not irked. I would say
You're irked by his music, though.
don't like his music. No, it's like Believer is the song or whatever. They played a clip of it, and I was like, don't like it. Don't like that song.
Troy's hot take.
My hot take. Bad song.
Imagine Dragons, overrated.
I know a lot of Mormons who would be like, Imagine Dragons are coming to town, and they would like go, and I'd be like, what? I don't care. I haven't cared about any music since like after 1994, so
Didn't they play a CFL?
stuck
like
in the garage days.
What's that cup they play
Grey
for?
Cup.
Didn't they play a Grey Cup halftime show like a couple years ago? Or was that the Super Bowl they played?
I don't know if they're big enough for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it was the Grey Cup.
Does the Grey Cup actually have a halftime show?
It does, yeah.
Nickelback played the halftime show one time with all their pyrotechnics and everything.
Yep, Grey Cup 2014.
Hey, nice poll.
Go Canada.
Go Canada. Have we talked about this sufficiently? I know we've offended someone. Surely we have. We're sorry.
That's when you know you're doing it
Sorry.
right.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. I
doing
feel
it
like I
wrong.
sort of tried to explain my thought. You gotta be flexible. That's my whole thing. You gotta be flexible
You got to be cool.
In all aspects.
in all aspects. And anyway, this has been Topical Topics. I want to move on to you. Wow. Heavy stuff. Hopefully, my points and our points came across as we hoped them to. I don't know. Let us know what you think about all that stuff. Let us know in the emails, the missionstoriespodcast.com or at gmail.com. And we're on Instagram and we're on YouTube, I think. For parts 2 and 3, where we actually talk about Braden's mission experience, check out those stories as parts 2 and 3, up and available now wherever you listen to this podcast. See you later.